All right, we are live. In this video, we are going to talk about why beginners should not be selling 30% ROI products on Amazon. So we're back. We have a completely new camera, which is super cool to live stream with. You can literally see like my hands out here, which is cool. We had RW in the chat. Good afternoon, way too early. He was here literally 28 minutes early. Good to have you. But this is why beginners should not be selling 30% ROI products. You hear it a lot that, like 30% ROI is the minimum ROI that I take. You should be buying those products. And like, that is a really good way to make money. But there's a couple different situations that beginners find themselves in, that like doesn't really make selling products at 30% ROI even make sense. So I'm going to tell a story to kind of illustrate this. Number one, the first time I tried to do online arbitrage is back in 2019 when I was selling on eBay. I had recently sold a pretty high-end sweater for around $100. It was like a Peruvian Express sweater or something. So back at this point, I was almost exclusively selling on eBay, selling clothes, shoes, boots, hiking boots, all that type of stuff. And I was mostly sourcing from the Goodwill outlet world. So if I have like a t-shirt, for example, it's pay by the pound. So a t-shirt maybe is a half a pound. So it would be like 70 cents per t-shirt. If it's boots or something, it'd be several pounds. And so it'd be like $5 for boots. And so if you're going to sell boots or a sweater for like $80, like that's a huge margin. But of course, it takes longer to find these products. Excuse me. So I had just sold a Peruvian Express sweater for, I think it was more like $90. So I'm like, like I keep hearing about online arbitrage more indirectly, but I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. It looks like there was a similar thing going for around $55. I was like, all right, like, let's do the math here. Like, get out my phone, do the same like fee analysis that I would usually do. If I sell for 90 and PayPal and eBay take their 13%, I'd be left with $78. And then $8 shipping back then, I'd be left with $70. And so if I buy this for $55, I'll be left with $15. And that ends up being very close to 30% ROI, actually much less. And we have Josiah and Laughmore in the chat. Good to see you guys. Thanks for showing up. We're just talking about why you shouldn't sell 30% ROI products on Amazon if you're a complete beginner. And so basically the story I'm telling to illustrate this point is I was selling a Peruvian Express sweater, basically a high-end sweater. I was going to do online arbitrage with it. I decided to buy one at $55 and I was going to sell for $90. That's what I thought. That was one of my first attempts at online arbitrage. So I bought it. I didn't try to haggle down the seller at all. Like I could have gotten it for cheaper. I think I offered like $50 or something. And he like counter offered like 53 or something. And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's profitable. I'll just do it. And literally my expertise isn't in high-end sweaters. Like I like high-end sweaters. But like that ended up sitting for like 6 months plus and nobody was biting. I had lowered the price several times. I ended up lowering the price to nearly $60 and I still wasn't getting bites. And finally, after months and months and months, someone finally bought it for like $60. So like, yeah, I sold it for a profit. But I had $50 just sitting for 6 months. Terrible use of money. And then after fees, it's $52 and then I have to pay for shipping. So I lost like $5-10 on that. So that's one reason why I don't think beginners should be selling 30% ROI products on Amazon, because like they don't know what they don't know. And like, no offense, but it's like if you're a complete beginner, you've never sold on Amazon before, there's probably going to be something about the transaction that you just completely missed. You know, like you don't know what you don't know. Like you haven't sold products before, and like that's okay and that's great. And that's why recently I've been trying to suggest to people who are looking to get into it to just get started with like just do eBay for a month or two. Like I know it's not the Lambo life. I know it's not passive income. I know it's more effort. But like with eBay, you're going to learn the skills of being able to list an item. You're going to learn the skills to ship an item. You're going to learn the skills to actually do your fee analysis and understand like, okay, eBay takes whatever percentage it is, and then shipping is going to be this much. Like people will do eBay and still not like do their fee analysis right. And Amazon is a much bigger fee game. Like it's very possible you go on Amazon and you make a mistake and you're like, okay, like I'm going to sell this item for $300. Like I'm buying it for $210. Like, yep, that's profitable. But like after fees, like it might only be like 240 or something like that. So like you thought you had a big ROI there, but suddenly it's gone. And then also like you might not be able to look at the data correctly and know like, okay, like I thought this item was going to sell in a month, but like really it took me 7 months. And that actually goes to the next point of why I wouldn't sell 30% ROI products as an Amazon FBA seller as a beginner. Because like as a beginner, like you really shouldn't be like you're a beginner, like you haven't sold tons on Amazon. Should you really be like throwing 100K at something that you don't really understand? I mean, that's like, I'm not even good at investing, and like that's investing 101. Like invest in what you understand. So like if you like realistically, you shouldn't have that much invested. And so therefore, like if you're just doing 30% ROI products, like if you're throwing your like $1,000 startup to try and see if Amazon works and then buying 30% ROI products, by the time you pay for software, assuming everything sells perfectly and assuming the cash flow cycle, we can dig into all of those. Like you're going to make $300 and then you're going to have to pay for your subscription. You're going to have to pay your fees. You're going to have to pay for softwares. And that's assuming everything goes right. Like most likely your items are going to go to a lower price and you're going to end up selling them for like $100 profit. And then you're going to break even. And then you're going to be like, Amazon sucks. Like, I hate this. But like, if you had started with like, okay, like let's say you just want to scrap the whole starting with eBay thing. Okay, well, like at least start with books. Books, you can go to a thrift store, just scan all the books with a Bluetooth scanner. You could just take your Amazon seller app for your first time if that's what you want to do. I know I did that because I wanted to like actually make sure the thing works. You'll buy a book for $1, $2. You'll see, okay, after fees, like this is a $20 book. After fees, which are massive on low priced items, you're going to get around $8 back. So if you buy that book for $1, sell it for $8 after fees, that's a massive ROI. And that has some space for error. You know, like maybe the book price, by the time it gets into FBA, more sellers go on it and it goes to like $15. Okay, well, you still made $3 back on your $1 investment and you actually made profit. And that way you're not going to quit thinking like, oh, Amazon saturated, the fees are too high. Like, yeah, you're going to be frustrated. You thought that book was going to sell for $8 profit. And it didn't, but you can learn your lesson and be like, okay, like when I send in books, they're not always going to sell at the price I thought. And you know, that's the same way with online arbitrage. I mean, stuff happens. Like people buy into sales thinking that it's more exclusive of a sale than it is, and the price does go down. And so you do want that cushion of an ROI to account for some mistakes. And so like, yes, as you get better and better at this and more comfortable with this, you know, like you can definitely lower that ROI because you have that skill and you know how to actually like make sure that what you're doing is precise enough that you're actually going to make the money. So I'm going to take a second and say hi to the chat. We got Jeff in the chat. Hey, been a while. Hope all is well. Good to see you, Jeff. We got RW. They need to start low and work it up to 30%. Jumping right in could cost them. Yeah. And it's like one thing that frustrates me is like I've tried to help some beginners get into selling on Amazon. And like they end up, first of all, like maybe they go for like 40% ROI or something, but then like they show me the purchase and like one thing's wrong with it that they didn't consider. Like they didn't realize that after fees is actually this much instead of this much, and so it goes to like 25% ROI, and then they're also starting with $1,000, and it's like, all right, like you're gonna understand that stuff sells on Amazon, which is good, but you do need some more ROI to make it better. Yeah, my eBay is around 15 to 25% on average. Are you talking about of total sales? I was smiling because Rake and Profit said wide angle party. Yeah, I'm experimenting with the GoPro as my webcam, which I think it looks super crispy, but I might need to turn it to not wide mode because you can literally see like my arms are like completely outstretched, and I don't know how I feel about that. So, but it's super crispy and very much so better than what I was using before. We got Josiah in the chat saying, when you have time but not money, spend your time to find high ROI, books, thrifting, garage sales. Yeah, exactly. And so like we're all in different stages of our journey. And so like even now I'm like, I want more money in my business. So if I have time and like I've spent money on as high of ROI products as I can find online arbitrage, like I could go hit an estate sale once a week if I want to. Or if I'm just like content with like the amount of money that I have in my online arbitrage business, I just don't do that. But like if you just have like tons of time, and here's the thing, you can't just have neither of them. Like if you come into Amazon and you're like, yeah, I have no money. I'm starting with like $500. Oh yeah. And I'm going to give it like 5 hours a week. Like you have to give one or the other, because you don't have skills either. Just super blunt. Sorry to burst someone's bubble, but like you have to give one or the other, you know? So like, when I started selling in 2019, like I just devoted like 50, 60 hours a week to it. And I was going and looking for those very high ROI products from the Goodwill Outlet world, from free pickups. And basically it was a lot of, how can I turn this $1 into $5? How can I turn this $1? Hopefully find something more expensive than that, because that's always nice. Love like when you find like a $5 pair of boots and they're like lucky boots or something, and you can sell them for over $100. That's amazing. But then like, as you get more experience, you can slowly start to work your way up. You could maybe from there, you can be like, okay, like every once in a while I can pay up for an item that I know is valuable. So instead of just buying boots, like $5 is my cutoff, like that's all I'm willing to do. Like maybe when you see those boots at a garage sale, you can be like, fine, I can pay $15 for those $100 boots. Like that is one level up to, you know, like you're going to be able to buy more inventory if you're willing to pay more for it. And so you can just progressively start to move up. Kind of like Josiah is saying here, when you understand the system and have money but not time, lower your ROI requirements and move towards scalable sourcing methods like RA, OA, and wholesale. And Josiah's been a great example of that. Like he's had some home run products that are RA where he finds just like massive ROI discontinued items at the RA. And he's like, well, like these sold extremely well. Like, where can I get more of them? and not spend 10 hours a week looking for those products, specifically for those products RA. So he tried to find those products, and in some cases he had to pay up for them. Other cases they were just as cheap. But that's the way you do it. You start to level things up. And so it's like selling 30% ROI products is just a little too advanced of a move. That it's hard to pull off if you have just started. We got Rake and Profit. What's good, gents? Good to see ya. Wide angle party. We got Jeff in the chat. Any A to A flips, or do you two mainly focus? Three actually. Mainly focus on eBay. Me personally, I do very little A to A. It's just not exactly what I do. I think Raken mostly does eBay to Amazon. I don't think he does A to A. Josiah, I don't think he does A to A at all. Then RW, I'm curious if RW has he had his whole thing where he was doing like coffee makers, and then someone came in, bought. It was just an interesting situation where they bought all of his inventory and the rights for him to sell the products for a year, but they paid him a lot. So I'm curious if he's transitioned to something, but he was doing some eBay to Amazon, also grocery. RW is saying ROI sales are up 60%. Still interesting subject, even though I'm not selling on Amazon now. You're not selling on Amazon at all? Interesting. Yeah. So ROI and sales are up 60%. Yeah, honestly, I don't like selling on eBay at all, but the cash flow is great. One thing people always say is if you want your cash flow to be better, do merch fulfilled. And even better than merch fulfilled is eBay. Just the thing is you might not get as much for them, for the items. But there's basically next day payouts once they pay and once you ship. I'm not exactly sure the technicalities of that. Can you do next day payouts as soon as they've paid or as soon as you've shipped? But I know it's super quick, whereas MF, it's a little slower. RW says, I'm out altogether, selling on eBay only and SE. Okay, nice. But you're probably doing more paying up for stuff instead of just out scrounging around for high ROI stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for showing up. That's basically the discussion. Basically the whole gist of this is if you're a beginner, just start small a little bit. Please level up as fast as you can. That's great. But you need to have the skill foundation in order to actually do that. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and take care.